Chelsea boots are some of the most popular boots that you can even get because there's various types. There's Blundstones that you're like foam-based casual boots. You've got your Redbacks and your Ariats that are your foam-based, more work-style Chelsea boots. You've got RM Williams that are arguably terrible dress heritage boots. And you've got Red Wings that have their heritage Chelsea boot. But this is completely unique and different. I don't think we've ever cut anything remotely close to this. And it looks like it's some kind of combination of a sneaker plus a Chelsea boot. So we're gonna cut these things in half, run through all of our tests to really figure out, is this, first of all, even worth the price? Is it decently built? Is this boot actually game-changing, or is it just muddled a few different styles together? And why you might not want to consider this Chelsea boot. And if you don't know anything about Chelsea boots, they can trace their origins back to 1851, where J. Sparks Hall made boots for Queen Victoria as laceless riding boots using vulcanized rubber, a process that recently was perfected by Charles Goodyear from the Goodyear name. Allegedly, they were called paddock boots when the Queen Victoria was wearing them. And then in the early 1900s, as British settlers brought Chelsea boots to Australia, where Australian ranchers and farmers adopted them almost immediately because they're so easy to put on, they're super rugged, and that's kind of where that RM Williams story starts. It's a complete embarrassment. So if you haven't seen the most recent RM Williams video, go watch that. Terrible. So right off the bat, it was adopted by the Queen, and then it was immediately adopted by hard-working people in Australia. So much so, like brands like Blundstone, RM Williams, Redback, some of the most iconic names in Chelsea boots come from Australia. But then fast forward to the 1950s and 60s, Chelsea boots were not super popular in mainstream culture, especially in the US, until a group of artists and socialites and musicians who frequented King's Road in Chelsea, England, Chelsea name, and as they were wearing those boots, they just started to become Chelsea boots. And that's where the name came from. I had no idea. I thought it was just like named after someone's girlfriend or wife or something. And so British designers and shoemakers embraced that style through the 60s and 70s with brands like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, making that Chelsea boot style huge in the youth culture of the time. And after that point, they just exploded in popularity for work, for casual wear, for dress wear, and everyone was adopting them, from high fashion brands to the punk rock scene, the Gucci's, the Pradas. Everyone had a Chelsea boot because of the utility of them. And so what started off as the Queen's boot, then went to an Australian Outback work boot, then to the Beatles boot, then to worldwide success, and finally Luca circling all the way back around to make almost a sneaker Chelsea boot. And so that's why I wanted to tell this little story and really put this into context, because it is a unique story of how it got its name and what the origins of this boot is, and it will help us figure out the utility of this boot and if it's worth it. And thanks to Huckberry for sponsoring this video. And if you don't know who Huckberry is, they're a one-stop shop for everything high quality, not just for boots, but also for clothes, for pants, anything that you want as somebody that appreciates high quality stuff. Huckberry specializes in that. It's not just like a bunch of random stuff they've accumulated and trying to sell at high prices. It's specifically curated, like really high quality denim, high quality shirts, high quality overshirts, cool collaborations with Danner. I'm like, I wanted a collaboration with Danner too. They're always coming out with new stuff. I'm signed up for their email just because I like to see what they're working on, keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on in the traditional and like high quality goods space. And their stuff's fairly priced. Like I did an unboxing that was not sponsored just because one day I was just like, I need some shorts for summer. Like I know that Huckberry carries like high quality stuff. It's gonna fit pretty decent. I'm just going on there, spend 30 minutes, buy a bunch of shorts. So if you wanna see that video, it's linked below. And I spent my own money on it. It wasn't sponsored. Go check out their website. And if you want their specific collaboration, check it out below. And I'll also put the other non-collaboration boots below as well. So what is this boot? Well, the brand is Luca. The style is the Terra slip-on Chelsea sneaker boot. They weigh 1 pound, 1 ounce. They are made in Portugal, and this is a house brand for Huckberry. It's like a little sister brand to Huckberry. They carry them on the Huckberry site. And the way they position this product is Luca returns with another boot in their fan favorite lineup, this time in a Chelsea sneaker hybrid silhouette. With leather pull tabs, they're easy on and off, while the cupsole construction provides sneaker-like comfort and durability. Double goring elastic keeps the heel locked in, crafted in Portugal from supple leather and finished with a highly springy, supportive Lacte Havea crepe rubber sole. These are an all-day modern take on the original style. And if you want a pair of these, check them out via links in my description. So now let's start going through the materials, starting with the leather. And so what are the specs on this leather? Well, it's about 2 to 2.5 millimeters thick. It's clearly a grain leather because you can see that top cross section creating that smooth effect, but it is buffed. You can see that kind of matte look. It's usually where they buff off and sand off some of the imperfections and lay down those fibers again. And that's why you can lightly scratch it and just immediately lay those fibers back down. If you look at the cross section, plenty of grain still in there. We did the burn test, no synthetics or plastics on top. And we did the waterproof test just to see, and you know, it's fairly waterproof, but it's not advertised as a waterproof boot. So is this leather worth $200 in a pair of boots? I think it's on par. You know, I think you see this leather anywhere from $150 up to like $350 in terms of quality. And I like it. It's a nice leather. It's got some pull up. It's going to age really nicely and take a really nice patina because it is, like you can even see, I got a little patina on there just from the little bit we wore it around for the B-roll. And if you look at the inside, you can see it's fully lined with a leather lining. It's 1 millimeter thick. It has a pretty heavy coating on top to give it that nice even finish. And so it's not gonna be quite as breathable as a really natural leather. It's not gonna absorb your sweat quite as much as a natural leather, but any leather is gonna be significantly more durable and smell way less than any fabric. So for 200 bucks, you compare that to some of the other boots in the price range. They're not fully leather lined, like the Blundstones are not, the Ariats are not, even the R.M. Williams, like go watch that video. And so pretty good for the price point. You know, it's not the highest quality lining leather, but it's good enough. If we pull out the insole, you can see it's a foam and leather insole. It's got that same lining leather on top, so it's gonna be really durable. It's gonna absorb your sweat. It's gonna smell a lot less. And then underneath, this is a pretty unique material. It kind of has the feel and sponginess of memory foam, but it almost has like a rubber feel to it too. So I think this might be like a latex rubber insole, which is pretty unique. And it is comfortable. It's really squishy. It's gonna compress and hold the shape of your foot because it's leather topped. So, you know, nothing spectacular, but not terrible. Underneath is where you start to really see how this shoe or boot might be built. You can see it's a full length fiberboard insole. And that's what you see in boots like $300 and under. You know, occasionally you see some that are like, that have a leather insole under 300 bucks, but for $200, that's about what you see. And this is a lot more built like a boot. Most sneakers are Strobel stitch, where the upper stops at the insole, and then there's a Strobel stitch that sews those two layers together. This boot is board lasted. We don't know for sure until we cut it in half, but I'm willing to bet it's board lasted because that board squishes down the upper that's tucked underneath and sandwiches it, and it's either glued or sewn or nailed together to create a firm bond. And the result of that is you get a little more stable of a feel. It's gonna be more durable, but it's gonna be more rigid. It's gonna take a little bit longer to break in, but it's not like it's crazy. And it's more affordable, and that's why you see it in $200 boots. But there's also a chance it's not board lasted because if you look at the cup sole, it has a sidewall stitch. And so you can see they are kind of riding that line already of a sneaker plus a boot and trying to combine those, because this outsole is a sneaker outsole. This is the Lacte Havea outsole, and I love these outsoles. They're so soft and squishy, like the durometer on the outside, 45 Shore, and this is natural rubber. And so it has a lot of grip. It has that natural kind of see-through, translucent amber look to it. And they last a really long time. You know, for how soft they are, they're pretty durable. They're not the most durable outsole. And so the fact that you can get it on a Chelsea boot, you almost only see it on sneakers, combined with all the other stuff, you start to see what they're trying to do with this boot. But also I'm willing to bet that it is tucked underneath, because you can see there's a little shadow there of where that upper is probably tucked underneath. And other than that, we don't really know what else is on the inside, so let's cut it in half, see if it really is tucked underneath, how else they structured this on the inside, and is it really more of a shoe or is it more of a boot? All right, we got it cut in half, and if you haven't subscribed, consider pushing that little subscribe button, give us a like, give us a comment. Anything you do to support these videos is how we're able to give you the information you need to make smart buying decisions as a consumer, especially on products that you literally have no idea what's on the inside unless you literally cut them in half. And so, let's see what's inside. So is it actually tucked underneath? Is it board lasted? Yep, you can see how that upper tucks underneath and looks like it's glued to that lasting board. So instead of having that little Strobel stitch that makes sneakers more flexible and lighter, it's more built like a boot where it's board lasted, because this is how Blundstones are built, this is how Redbacks are built. They obviously have a different outsole, and that's really what makes this so unique, because you can see you've got a little bit of structure in the heel to help compress those sails more equally and distribute your weight better in this boot. You can also see it does have a steel shank, and it's a flat shank. It doesn't have any arch to it because it's basically a flat shoe. And you can see it's sandwiched in between that fiberboard and that structure material underneath. You can also see one of my favorite things that brands have finally started doing is taking that that heel area and flipping the leather to make it more abrasion resistant, because that's always where you wear out your heel or your shoes. And for the structures in the toe and the heel, you've got, looks like just a synthetic toe stiffener and heel counter. And so really it's a pretty simple boot now that it's cut in half. I thought there might be a few more layers on the inside. So is this more of a shoe or is it more of a boot? I think it's more of a shoe, honestly. It feels more like a shoe. It acts more like a shoe. It's easy to put on like a shoe because it's a Chelsea boot. You know, it's like, I think for the most part, everything in here you would see in a sneaker except for like here up. The actual Chelsea part is the most boot thing. You know, it does have thicker leather and it does have a little bit more sturdy construction with the shank and stuff, but I would say it's 75% shoe, 25% boot. And so is it worth the price? Is this $200 worth of materials? I think it is. You know, I think you'd probably find some sneakers that are similar built, maybe not a Chelsea boot, that have some of these features for less, but you're getting the Lactate Hevea sole, you're getting pretty nice leather, you're getting what is essentially a really premium sneaker for a premium sneaker price. It's just in the shape of a boot. And you compare this to the insides of the Blundstones, the Redbacks, the Ariats, especially the R.M. Williams, and that's where I really started to try to figure out, is it worth the price? And on that spectrum of sneakers in the similar price range and Chelsea boots in a similar price range, I think it fits just fine in there. So would I buy these over a pair of Blundstones? Would I buy them over all the other boots? They're a completely different boot. So it's almost comparing apples to oranges, both fruit, but different types of fruit, because you're not gonna go to work in these. You know, these have like a similar casual vibe to a pair of Blundstones, but they're not the pointy R.M. Williams. They're not the dedicated Ariat work boots. They're not the big chunky sole on the Redbacks or the big clumpy look of Blundstones. And if you're looking for a boot with those features, that's not this boot. But this boot really is a sneaker Chelsea boot hybrid. So let me know what you guys think. And if you want a pair of these, check them out below. Let me know what other Chelsea style content you want us to cover. And thank you guys for all your support. So thank you guys. See ya.